Let's take a minute to talk about superheroes. Maybe you have a favorite superhero, or maybe like me, you don't necessarily have a favorite superhero, but you sure wish you had a superpower sometimes. Why do we like superheroes so much? What is it about them that draws us in? Some superheroes have the power of invisibility. Some have the power of super strength, and others have the power of super speed. One thing that most superheroes have in common is that they protect people from villains. Batman protects Gotham City, Superman protects Metropolis, and the Avengers, well, they just pretty much protect the whole world. Superheroes protect people. It's part of what they do. One of our favorite songs in Kids Park is called Jesus is My Superhero. This song talks about how God created the whole world and how Jesus is better than any superhero that we could ever invent. This month, our family devotionals have been following a series called Go. This series asks the question, where are we going? It talks about how part of our purpose is to go into the world and live for Jesus and share Jesus with other people. The ways in which we can do this are many, as God has given us each a unique set of gifts and talents. Last week, our devotions focused on the armor of God and how it can help to protect us, just like superheroes do in movies. This week, we're talking about how God protects our hearts and our minds. Let's look at Philippians 4 together. How does God protect our heart and minds? What does that mean? Today, we're going to pick up the story in verse 4. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will always be with you. Let's go back to verse 4. Paul says, rejoice in the Lord always. He even repeats himself. He says, rejoice. Where was Paul when he wrote these words? Paul wasn't sitting at home on a comfortable couch. Paul was in jail. He was in jail for telling people about Jesus, because a lot of people weren't happy about that back in those days. I don't know about you, but if that happened to me, I probably wouldn't have felt like rejoicing. Let's read what Paul says next, picking up the passage in verse 11. I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Paul says that he learned to be content. Content means to be okay and at peace. He said he learned to be that way no matter what. So how did he do that? In verse 13, he says, it's through God. Maybe you've heard that verse before. Does it mean that through God, we'll be able to make that impossible shot in basketball or walk on the ceiling? No. What it means is whatever the situation, whether it's good or it's bad, if we stay close to Jesus, Jesus will help us. Jesus will bring us joy no matter if things go our way or not. And Jesus will protect our hearts and minds. I know a lot of us have been going through a tough time right now. It's sad because tough times happen. But just like Paul, since we have Jesus, we can still be full of joy no matter what, because God protects our hearts and our minds.